Hello, everyone. My name is Lively Corsian, or Corsian QT if you watch me on Twitch. And it's been a while since I last uploaded. It's been about 10 months now since my last upload on this channel, which is really no one's fault but mine. I kind of just lost interest in recording it, but I'm back today. And today, because if you were to go look back on my channel, you'll see that my current most viewed video is my Ruby character tier list. Today's video is going to be in the same light, but instead of Ruby this time, of course, it's going to be the Walking Dead Telltale games. I just recently finished playing through all of them, and I wanted to get this done while it's still fresh in my mind. Today I have my good friend Halo Joe 102 joining me.
Yo, it's me. I am here.
He's also played through all the Telltale games numerous times.
Like 50 times at this point.
And yeah, I figured I'd bring him along for the ride. Anyways, I think it goes without saying that this will contain major spoilers for the Telltale Walking Dead games, so if you haven't played them, I recommend clicking off this video now before you get anything spoiled.
And also play all of the games and then come back and watch this.
Yes, do that. They are Telltale's best works.
Indeed.
All
Are
right.
characters in this? No. Okay, we're good.
Let's get into it. All right. To start us off, we have... I don't remember.
Vernon?
That's Vernon. Vernon.
That is Vernon.
From...
Vernon D tier.
Yeah. C tier for me. I thought he was a pretty good driving character for Lee. And he definitely did catalyze the last two episodes, most of the action in them, so I feel like that was a pretty important thing for him.
My boy tried to steal
that, he's a
and then
kind of
left her anyways.
Kind of a boring character, but what season 1 of the Walking Dead Telltale does very well is it makes it so all the characters at least have a point. There's a lot more issues with that in later seasons with characters like, well, we'll get to that. Season 2, I'd say, is probably one of the more bigger issues with that.
Yeah, Nick is just kind of there for the entire season.
All right. Number 2, that's not Pete. I forget his name again.
It's Walter.
Walter Hardwell White.
No,
I know.
that is not him.
I know. Walter from The Walking Dead, season 2. He's only in one episode, and he gets shot in the head at the end of that episode. But from the episode he's in, he's a B tier character. He's not really that important, but he's not terrible. He's not the worst offender of side character in season 2.
Absolutely agreed. This man is a B tier. He deserved better. He literally had his entire life unravel before him in the span of like 12 hours. So
yeah, and all because of one group of people.
All because Nick decided to pull one trigger.
Yeah. Anyways, next we have Alvin Jr., aka AJ, or Little Goofball.
Or Shitbird, if you choose that option.
Alvin, in my opinion, is an S. He's not a god tier character, but he is an S tier. He's not as good as Clementine is, but he's still got a really good character. The only reason he's not getting the god tier, and actually, you know what, I'm putting him down into A tier, he is way too mature for his age. He is a 5-year-old. 5 or 6-year-old. He does not need to be. There's no reason he would be that mature. It's unreasonable, and in my opinion, it kind of deprecates his character a bit. Anyways, that being
Partially agree. I agree with him being a little too mature for his age, but if you can look past that, I think he's one of the best written characters in the series. So you know what,
yeah,
I'm putting him in God tier anyways.
yeah. Next character, Ava, instant D tier. She sucked. Point. She is a big offender of pointless character in um the third season, New Frontier. She is so pointless that her death was literally she just got tackled off a small ledge by Zion. That is the most pointless death in the entire season. Every other death was way more meaningful. Even when she gets shot on stage, if you choose to save her instead of Trip, it's really not even that impactful of a death because you just met her like last episode. There's no reason to care about her yet.
I am very mixed. On the one hand, she was kind of the only person who was nice to Clementine in the New Frontier. But on the
Javi.
other hand, okay, that doesn't count. I meant
Gabe.
like the group, not the game.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyways, so for that reason, I want to put her in like C tier. But on the other hand, she has the single worst written death in all of The Walking Dead, and for
Either
that
way,
reason, I
she
want to put
dies.
her in E tier. So I'm putting her in D tier. I'm gonna average out the C and the E. She's going in D.
Yeah. Eleanor's next. She gets a solid B for me. I liked her in the first episodes, but the twist at the end of the fourth episode was the stupidest thing ever. In my opinion, I don't
Yeah,
think
no,
that
agreed.
another instance of a New Frontier having kind of bad writing.
I was gonna put her in E tier, but now I feel like I can't. No, she's sticking in. I'm sticking her in E tier. I have absolutely no idea why she betrayed literally everybody that she knew because of
Even
whatever the New Frontier was doing. I
yeah.
don't know.
I mean, it would make more sense if she talked to them after she found out that Javi killed Conrad, if you chose that. But then when you don't kill Conrad, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, no, Eleanor is. I hate her. She's going in E.
Next up, we have that Badger. Yeah, that's Badger.
Nope, that's
Sure.
Max.
Max. Max, another character from New Frontier. I really like Max. I thought he was a really cool character from that season. He's like the middle ground of the New Frontier. He's like not super unreasonable, but he's also not super reasonable. He does bad things, but he repents.
Max is going in C tier for me. He is literally the middle of the road character in my opinion. He's good. He's good as a character, but he's heavily underutilized.
I'm not gonna keep him in S. I'm gonna put him in A. You're really right there. Next up, the one that I actually recognize. That's Omid.
Omid.
S tier.
Better.
Omid is one of the best characters in season 1. It's a shame he dies in the intro to season 2.
Okay, I can't put him in S tier. I'll put him in A tier. He was really funny, and I wish we saw more of him. And he's one of the most underrated characters in this series. But I can't say that I like him enough to put him in S tier.
This is the first S tier I'm given. The dog, E tier, stupidest thing ever. It was the whole season 2 was extremely dark. There was a needless amount, and the first episode especially. I do not know what those developers were on writing that first episode, but they had to make it the most brutal thing possible. And this is the thing that mainly catalyzed it. This dog literally bit Clementine's arm and then just held on for dear life and then wouldn't let go, basically, for a long time. And it was just kind of annoying how that just happens, and then it just up and dies.
I am putting Sam the dog in A tier because well, maybe not controversially, But I really enjoy how season 2 ups the brutality to a ridiculous amount to actually show you what it would be like being an 11-year-old trying to survive. And for that reason, I'm okay with putting him in A tier. Sam the dog is a real one. I'm sorry that he had such a traumatizing life that he had to attack Clementine.
Yeah. Anyways, next. This one's Badger, right?
Yeah, E tier.
Yeah, D tier. He was an interesting villain for like the 3 minutes of screen time he had. He had a
He's
bit
kind of just the most cliche villain
five,
I've ever seen, and for
5 minutes
that
at
reason, I'm
most.
putting him in
Yeah,
here.
he's a little weird. I I thought he was an interesting-ish villain, but there was a much better villain in that season, and it's just his boss.
Yeah, he's kind of just the head honcho of the grunts, which doesn't really make him very much, and he kind of enjoys killing a wee little too much for my liking.
Yeah, he's a little weirdo. All right, next we have possibly the most controversial character of season 1, Ben. He gets a B tier for me. B for Ben. He's not terrible, but again, it's just another twist that I really didn't enjoy. I mean, it made sense in the end. I just didn't like it much.
I'm putting him in B tier because I do feel bad for him, and you haven't played through the games multiple times, but if you do the right options, he has a whole spiel where he yells at Kenny and he reveals a lot of his backstory. And it gives a lot of insight into his character. So I'm gonna go B tier because, the kid deserved better, but he was kind of stupid and also abandoned Clementine, so he's not going above a B tier.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a solid B for me.
Next up, we have Ma St. Paul, or Ma St. John, or whatever the fuck her name was.
That's it. That's what she's called. This is Brenda St. John, the absolute asshole that loves to eat humans.
Brenda St. John was a very well written villain, in my opinion. Her death scene is one of the most cathartic pieces of death scene in The Walking Dead. Yeah, I loved her death scene. I thought it was incredible, and I thought she was a pretty good villain. Cancer patient forehead woman. Where do I
Well,
start?
before we go with Bree, I'm gonna say Brenda St. John for me is going into C tier because I have no idea where to put her. I love her role in the plot, but I also hate her as a person. So C tier it is. I don't know
Don't
where
get me
else to
wrong, I
put
hate
her.
her as a person, but she's a very good villain.
She is. I like the brothers more though.
Yeah. All right. Bree, aka Forehead.
This is the only pointless character in The
Kind of
Walking
boring.
Dead season 1.
Yeah,
And that's
she was just kind of
because
pointless. She just dies the same episode she's introduced. She does literally nothing throughout that entire episode.
there was some sort of competition or like raffle or something where someone in the real world would be put into the Walking Dead game, and their model would be used to create a character, and that's what Bree's entire
Uh,
existence is. She was literally just a random person that was put into the game, and that's why she does nothing. So yeah, she's going in D tier for me. She doesn't really do much.
yeah. Okay, I'm trying to. Is that no? That's not.
It's Brody.
Who is that?
Brody. Flashlight smashed
Oh,
face in
Brody. Brody.
person.
Yeah. Sounded like you were saying Birdie for me.
No,
Brody.
Brody.
In my opinion, they were the weakest character in season 4. We didn't get much screen time of them, and they were killed pretty at the end of the first episode of the final season. So, don't get me wrong, I love the scene of Clementine having to brutally beat Bree's reanimated corpse to death. That was actually one of the best scenes in that entire season. But and it was also the first instance of horror in the season, other than the hallway scene leading up to it.
Well, I'm going with an A tier because I really like Brody. I've always thought that her character was really interesting, but it's
Um.
whatever.
Anyways, next we have Abel. I'm giving him an A because he was an interesting villain, and I kind of like his semi-redemption arc right before he dies. Like he's just a guy trying to survive. Does he do
I'm
bad
giving
things
him an
because of it?
S tier.
Yes, but
I
just
I will say the reason that I love Abel so much is one, he really looks like the guy from Home Alone, and
he
two, he
does.
basically lives through like a real life version of Home Alone. He can lose his arm, he can get his hand cut open, he can get his foot stabbed, he can get his leg broken, he can get his leg bit by a dog, he can get his head slammed several times, you can burn his face with a cigarette. Oh my God, this man went through so much torture. And also, his final scene is very insightful and one of the best written encounters in The Walking Dead season 4. So
I
he's
do
going
agree
S
with
tier
that.
for me.
All right. Next up, this one, Clementine. She's in every episode, every season. She's just the most well-developed character, and she's just yeah. There's no putting her below God tier. She is one of.
Absolutely in God tier.
She is the best character in The Walking Dead, mainly because we have the most time with her. I'd say.
Clementine is both my favorite character in The Walking Dead, like the entire series, not just the games, but
Yeah.
she's also my favorite fictional character ever, which is probably saying a lot, but I don't care. I love Clementine. She's going God tier.
All right. Next up, we got back-to-back God tiers. Lee Everett, the man, the myth,
Lee.
the badass.
My man
Lee
is going in God tier.
is my single favorite protagonist out of any Telltale game I've played. I'm gonna say it. I like playing as Lee more than I like playing as Clementine. Even though the final season was better than season one, I do think Lee was a lot more fun to play as. And he sets off so much stuff that gets brought up in later games. That being said,
Yeah,
I don't want to make
I
this.
do love Lee.
I don't
So
want to make
I'm
this
gonna
video 8 years long, so
God
we're
tier.
just gonna, yeah. Sorry, I cut you off there. I don't want to
You're good.
explain all the reasons Lee's good because that would
Yep.
take 8 years. Anyways, on to the next character. Best villain in season 4, final season, Minerva. The
I
the
am putting
scene.
Minerva in S tier.
Same here, yeah. The scene where she walks up singing "The Night Will Be Over Soon" with the horde of walkers in tow, where she has the freaking fire axe. That is probably the best scene in the entire season, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. Or okay, it's top 5 scenes at least.
Yeah, it's undeniable that that's top 5, at least.
Originally, they were going to give Minerva an optional redemption, but they cut it because they felt that it would make the entire brainwashing of the Delta feel totally. There would just be no stakes anymore if somebody could just be redeemed so easily. And I agree with the fact that they cut it, and the fact that she is literally the catalyst for the entire season's plot and issues. I don't know. I love her. She's going in S tier.
Yeah, I agree with that. Next, we have Rosie the dog, the good dog.
Rosie is a good dog. She is going in A tier
Yeah, I
because
agree
she
with
is a
that.
good girl.
Yeah, they're going in A tier solely because they're a good girl.
Yes.
Next up, we got another character from season 1 and kind of season 2, Krista. Yeah, she gets an A tier.
What happened to Krista, man?
Yeah, what happened? I feel like they were gonna try and go somewhere with her disappearing, and then they completely forgot she existed.
I genuinely think she's absolutely dead. I just want us to see her dying, or at least get confirmation that she's dead.
Yeah.
She's going in B tier though. I like her a lot, but she's
Yeah.
not my favorite of all time.
Yeah. I hear you there. Next we have another A tier, Chuck from season 1, episodes 3, 4.
The man is an underrated legend. He was a
Again,
little bit too harsh on
deserved
Clementine,
better.
but I love him, so A tier.
He's a man hardened by his life and the apocalypse, of course, but it's understandable. He's a really interesting character because he's the oldest person we see in season 1, I'm pretty sure, other than Vernon, maybe.
I believe that you are correct.
But he's also a complete and total badass.
This man with his shovel is like Rafiki with his stick. My man was taking out walkers left and right.
Or Javi with the bat, or Lee with the
Or
fire
Javi
axe.
with the bat.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Literally every weapon.
Who the hell is this?
I can't actually. I'm a little bit out
Are they
of whack.
from?
One
They
of my
might be from a
characters is not
show.
what they're supposed to be. Oh wait, this is the one guy on the prison bus in 400 Days, I think. If this is the one I'm thinking you're looking at.
E tier. Doesn't matter.
400 Days was just bad.
That guy
it's like
dies
the only
immediately.
episode in The Walking Dead that I actually hate. He's going in E tier.
He dies. 90% of the people choose to kill him. And even if he doesn't. Actually, let's get the other prison bus out of the way too. They're both E tier characters. One of them dies either way, and the other one is never seen again.
Where even is the other prison bus guy? I don't know. I'll find him later.
I think they got eaten by walkers literally right after getting out.
Yeah, it's 400 Days is just mostly bad. There's a few decent parts of it, but I'm not a fan.
Anyways, next character. Doug. I don't want to give him an A tier, so I'm going to give him a B tier. He's definitely, between Doug and Carly, he's a lot less popular than Carly is. And that's very obvious.
You would be surprised.
Looking at, well...
There's a whole resurgence of Doug lovers that happened after everybody chose Carly, so there's a lot of people that like Doug, but I personally like Carly more.
Yeah. I'm
putting him in A tier, though. I think Doug has some of the best comedic relief in the series and just some of the best jokes, but as a character and for the role in the plot, Carly's just overall better, so A tier.
Thank you for entertaining them. I had to lock my door so my grandma doesn't barge in while I'm in the middle of recording. Anyways,
You're good.
Next, Marlon, A tier.
He's borderline S tier for me. He's so close to S tier, but I have to give him A. He's such a well-written character.
He is so well-written. And the whole reveal that he was the villain, kind of. It was good. Hello?
Some issues.
I see.
Because of, Erickson's boarding school for troubled youth. And there's a lot of theories going around that that's the reason that he went around the whole situation so poorly. But in all honesty, I still love Marlon with or without that theory, so he's going A tier. If that theory is true, he's going up to A, but since it's not confirmed, he's going up to S. But as is, he's staying at A.
Right. Anyways, Duck, D tier. Boring, stupid child character.
I don't hate Duck. My man Duck is getting a C tier because he made a Batman reference and he called himself a dick, and I thought that was really funny.
One good moment does not redeem all the other bad ones. Duck is an annoying character.
I've never been annoyed by him. I just have no opinion on him. So C tier is the only place they can put him.
Mm-hmm. Who is that?
I forgot her name.
Is that just Clementine without a hat?
No, it's the other person from 400 Days. I should know this. I've played this series
Oh.
like
The
six or
younger
seven
sister.
times, like at least entirely
Younger
through. I've
sister,
played season 4
D.
so
She's
much.
kind of
I
an asshole.
I should know her name, but I don't. Uh, D tier because I don't remember her name, but I don't really like her anyway, so D tier.
Yeah, she was kind of an asshole, too.
Yeah. Fanfiction makes her better. If we're talking fanfiction version, then she's going in B, but as is D.
Anyways, next. David. S tier.
S tier.
He is
Such a
such
well-written.
an awesome character.
I would hate him if I met him in real life, but as a character, I really, really like him. He is probably the highlight of New Frontier, other than Clementine and Javi.
Yeah. He's not a great person, but he is such a well-written character in that season. Gabe, instant E tier. Worst character in the entire season.
Gabe is going. Is
Enough
it?
said.
I want to make a tier below E tier that just says Gabe. You know what? I'm gonna do that.
Can I even do that? I don't think I can.
Add new layered. You can. Add a row
I can't.
below. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm adding one. I'll send you a screenshot to put at the end of the video.
Oh no, what have I done?
Just for, my own ranking.
E's
But
gonna be
below E tier, Gabe.
He's gonna be at the bottom of E tier for me.
And there he goes, where he belongs. Get what you fucking deserve. Alright, we're good.
Yeah. Anyways, Javier, God tier character.
Absolutely. I love
action
Javi.
hero.
He's so funny.
He's an action hero, man. Nothing beats action hero.
He's the action hero of the series. I don't like him as much
Okay.
as I like Alvin, Lee, or Clementine, but he's very close. I have to put him in God tier, but he's on the bottom of God tier.
Yeah. The girl from 400 Days is Becca.
Becca. I knew it started with a B, but I was like, it's not Brenda, so I didn't want to say anything. But
And
you're
then
right, it is Becca.
And then we're getting to the other ones soon. Kate. S tier character.
I'm going A tier. I think she's a very overhated character.
Now that I've finished the season, don't hate her as much. I wish I had got the ending where she survives, but I did not. I got the ending where only Gabe survives because, of course, I made the wrong decisions.
I do not really purposefully go out of my way to make Gabe live. If he lives, you know what? That's great. But if he dies, you know what? I don't care.
I also just really wanted the badass scene with Javier just chopping down an entire horde of zombies with only a handgun and a baseball bat.
Yeah, and his motorcycle.
Yeah, that was really cool.
All right, I think Trip is next.
Is he? He is.
My man Trip's getting an A tier. Wait, no, that's I'm going B tier.
I'm going S.
I wanna give him A tier so badly, but he is kind of just a less interesting Kenny. His sense of humor is much funnier than Kenny, but
I'm keeping him where he is.
I'm keeping him in B. I really like him, but I do think that he's kind of a discount Kenny in a way. So yeah, B tier.
Yeah. I'm gonna move him down to A tier. That being said, I should know his name. He's also in the show and the comic. Glenn. Yeah, Glenn. He's a B tier. He's barely in the first episode, but he was pretty cool in that episode.
I have no idea how to rank him. If we're going like the games, comics, and show, just like Glenn in just overall, he'd be an S tier. Not quite God tier. I know a lot of people put him in God tier. I personally don't think he's in my top 10 from the entire
I'm
series or anything, but
only
I'm gonna put him
counting
in S.
the games because
Okay, if we're
I've gotten to the point where the main character of the show meets him in the show, and he's pretty cool in the show, but I would not count that since this is solely a Telltale game tier list.
exclusively in the Telltale games, he's going in B.
Yeah, kind of a mid character in my opinion. Uh, Alvin Senior,
Alvin Sr.
B. I'm gonna be completely honest. Most of the original group of the most of the lodge group from season 2 was not great. They were meant to be replaced later on.
There
Clearly.
were a lot of good characters, but there weren't many great characters, except for ones that we'll see later.
Yes. That being said, Carlos, D tier. Most blank slate character in the entire season. All
I'm
we
gonna
know
go with
about him
E.
is he has
No,
a
actually, I'll
daughter
stay with D.
and he's a doctor. That's about it.
He's not even a good doctor. He can't tell the difference between a bite mark from a human and a dog.
Yeah. That's why the theory is popular. He's not even actually a real doctor.
There's two theories that are very popular. One, he was never actually a doctor and he exaggerated his skills so that he could
Carver
stay
wouldn't
around
kill him.
Carver's camp. And the second option, which I think is probably more plausible, is that he didn't want Clementine interacting with his daughter, so he purposefully put her out into the shed. And either way, it could be any of those three theories, and I dislike him equally. Like, none of those theories make him a better character. He's still staying in D.
Yeah. No, he's not great. That being said, we get to probably the best villain in all of the Walking Dead Telltale games. Carver. Easy S tier. He is such a good villain.
I'm
He's
gonna go A tier.
intimidating. He's bad. And he has one of the most gruesome death scenes in the entire show. Or games. The only reason his death scene was not gruesome is because the person that killed him ran out of breath. He would have kept going all night if he could have.
I'm gonna go with an A tier simply because even though I 100% agree with what you've said, he is not really. I guess the easiest way I can describe it is that he is kind of a discount Negan, which I know is why a lot of people don't like him. I still really like him, but I can agree that he is kind of a less interesting Negan. And I know that you haven't seen Negan, but since I have to put him in A tier.
Anyways. Oh, that's the other guy that betrayed Carver that get shoved off the roof. Not sure what his name is. Reggie. C tier. He's
Reggie.
kind of an insignificant character, and I don't know, man. He's kind of meh.
I'm putting him in B tier, but if he was in more scenes, he might have been an A tier character. I really like him. He's funny.
He gets
as
a
hell.
C tier from me. He was really the thing that showed the people really that Carver was a bad guy. And I think that's the only reason he was in the series. Was for Walter to shove him off a roof and then to show that he's a bad guy. Not Walter. Carver, yeah. Next up, we have Russell. That's Russell.
I don't really care about him. He's kind of a boring character.
In my opinion, he's the least interesting out of all the 400 Days cast. Which is saying a lot because the cast is already not great.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in D because I actively do dislike having to play as him. Because I just don't care about him. Like, the game forces you to play as him for like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. The only good part of his episode is the reference to episode 3 of season 1 being Carly or Doug's dead corpse on the ground.
Yeah.
If you decide to hide. Anyways, next up we have who the hell is that?
Roy? Troy.
What is he from?
Season 2.
Oh wait, is he the guy that
He's the guard.
the one that
He got his dick shot.
Yeah. He has one of the best lines in the entire series. That's the only reason he's an S tier for me.
Okay, so here is the thing. I have heard so many of the deleted pieces of content about what Troy was originally supposed to be. Because
now
Carver
that I
wasn't
think
even
about that,
supposed to be
B.
in the series. Carver was created because they demoted Troy from going to be at like the top of the food chain to just a guard. And given all of the deleted content based off of him, I really can't put him above D. I don't like him. I mean, it's totally biased
He has a very
because
funny voice line, though. That's the only reason. I'm putting him in B now. I love that voice line. Hi, I got my dick shot off.
yeah, no, it is she shot my dick off, but it's a funny line, but given my personal bias against this character, I have to put him in D. It's my tier list. I can do what I want.
Yeah. Anyways, next up we got Vince. He's an A. He's my favorite out of the 400 Days characters.
I'm giving him a C. I don't care about him. He just feels like he's just boring.
I like them.
Fair enough, to each their own, but I'm putting him in C.
Next up, we have my least favorite character for season 2, Jane. She's getting an E tier, especially with that model.
Okay, yeah, I hate the season 3 model. Okay, so I do not like Jane because of what she did in season 2, episode 5. But
what do you mean what she did in season 2, episode 5?
Her.
She does a lot of shit in that episode.
The one thing that I actually cannot defend, which is the whole AJ thing.
Oh yeah.
Because I can understand why
I don't like the guilt trip.
She's not
like her
the
trying to
greatest person before that, though.
I also don't like her trying to guilt trip Clementine into accepting her back into the group. There honestly, in my opinion, should have been an option to leave Jane behind. I feel like that would have been a much better thing to do. But
I do like how she's sort of Clementine's older sister, and she does teach Clementine many things that she keeps even in the final season, basically the leg kick.
Yeah,
but
that's...
you know, her role in the plot and her character in episodes 3 and 4 would have gotten her an A tier, but I'm moving her down to B because of episode 5.
I absolutely hate her.
And also, her death is one of the worst in the series. It is worse than Kenny's death in season 3 somehow. I don't know. She's just bad.
Her death, if you go with her, is so dumb. And then there's the death. I actually kind of thought her death, if Kenny kills her, is a lot better.
It is.
I thought it was a pretty good death. The problem is they kept trying to make Kenny feel like the villain in season 2 when he really wasn't. He was going to be the villain originally, but no.
I will say that Kenny has a lot of really bad tendencies, and I can absolutely understand somebody seeing him as a villain. He is not a good... I mean, he's a good person, but he does a lot of bad things. He does a lot of really immoral things, and that's what makes him an interesting character. But Jane is just not as good. I don't know, B tier. Moving on.
Yes. Jesus. S tier. Most badass. Okay. Even more badass than Javier.
Honestly. I
think
my opinion might be tilted because of the comics and the show. But yeah, he's absolutely going in an S tier.
I can't put him in God because we see less.
And his voice actor is perfect.
Oh yes, his voice actor.
My boy Brendan Keener, my boy Garrus playing a Walking Dead character. You know, I already love it. S tier.
Yeah. Anyways, Lily.
Lily, I don't know where to put Lily.
B tier.
I'm gonna put her in B.
It's just she was gone for 2 seasons and then she comes back as like a. Oh, surprise! She's the leader of the bad guys.
Well, she's
in
not the
season.
leader, but
She's the leader of the bad guys that are near us. She's the leader
fair.
of the people that are attacking Erickson's.
You know what? I'm moving her up to A tier. She's a really interesting character in season 1, and she's a really good villain in season 4. So I feel like anything less than A just doesn't work for me.
I just didn't really like her. Speaking of characters, I did not like Dr. Lingrad. D tier.
Lingard.
Lingrad, same fucking thing. Honestly, they're it's at this point I'm starting to realize every doctor character is getting put in D tier right now.
I'm gonna put him in
For
C
me.
tier because I actually do like the whole moral decision of killing him or not killing him, and that's the only reason he's in C. Or choosing nothing and letting Clementine do it, but almost nobody does that.
Yeah, I don't like him too much though. Yeah, anyways. Next up. Carly. She's an A for
S
me.
tier.
I put her in A tier because I feel like the whole thing between her and Lee was a bit rushed, but it does it's rushed for us.
It makes sense, but it
but
happened mostly off screen.
yeah, exactly. In retrospect, it's not rushed, but for us, it feels rushed because there was a 3-month time skip between the first episode and the
3
second
years.
episode. Anyways, on that note, Katja, I think.
I don't know where to put Katja. I'm gonna go C tier. She's middle of the road.
Yeah, she just doesn't feel too good to have. It's just she's better than Duck, but she doesn't really contribute much.
I would say she's slightly better than Duck, but
Yeah, that's why I have
that's
C
all I
tier.
can really give her.
Next up, we have Mariana, whatever you want to call her. Javi's niece.
Marinara.
Kate's daughter. B tier. She was good until she got shot in the back of she got shot in the back of the head in the first episode. That was a really good twist at the end of the first episode that I feel like hooked a lot of people back in to continue for the second episode, but other than that, they're kind of meh.
I have to put her in A tier. I really love her candy bar thing. She made such an impact in such a short amount of time. She's sort of like Chuck for me. So I have to put her in A.
Yeah. Speaking of impact in a short amount of time, Mark.
Holy shit, his death.
Tier. He has the most gruesome death in season 1, I'd say.
I would agree with that. The whole context behind his death is very disturbing. Needless to say, I mean, getting your legs hacked off and then having other people eat them is a little wacky. It's a little
especially
goofy goblin gamer brain.
Because he only got shot in the shoulder. He wouldn't have died.
Yeah, no, he got shot in the
That's
shoulder.
That's the St. John's excuse. Oh, basically, we only eat people who are going to die anyways. He could have lived.
He would have lived. They just didn't want to.
Anyways, off of
I'm gonna put him in B tier.
And onto Mitch. He was a dick in the first episode, but when it came to the second episode, at least the second half of the second episode, he took a full redemption and became one of my favorite characters in that entire season. I love his whole character is let's blow shit up, and I love it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go A tier. He's low A tier or high B tier for me.
Fair.
I'll put him in high B tier. I think the only reason I was considering A tier is because of fan fiction, but that doesn't count here.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Molly. She gets an A tier. She didn't make too big of an impact. I feel like it would have been they definitely shafted us out of getting another really good character in the 5th episode by just having her run off to God knows where.
Yeah, I feel like if she didn't die, she should have at least been in
They
episode
underutilized
5.
her. Either have her in episode 5 or maybe even have her be in season 2. Have her replace
Replacing
Jane,
Jane with
maybe.
Molly.
Yeah, that would be a much more interesting thing. Because Jane is a boring character compared to Molly. Molly makes such a big impact in the hour of screen time she gets, I'm pretty sure. She only gets an hour, I'm pretty sure. She's such a
Yeah, but
mysterious
everybody
character.
fell in love with her immediately.
Yeah, I love her character. I like the whole like survivalist vibes, but she's also still like it's hard to describe. She's just one of my favorite characters. She's also kind of a badass. A lot of people from season
She
1 are just
is.
badasses. The
I
first thing she
wish that
does.
her pick was on this tier list as their own character.
Yeah. We gotta go named weapons tier list next.
Oh my god.
It'll
Yes,
be
there's
like
not very many of them, but we can do it
3.
anyways.
It'll
Yeah,
be it's Molly's pick,
and then Cheryl's. What
Cheryl's,
did
and
she
then
name it? I know she named it something.
I think it was not Molly.
I was gonna say Molly. I can't remember what she named it for some reason. Usually I would, but my brain no work right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's Hilda. Hilda.
Hilda, that's it.
That's such a cool name, though.
It is. Alright, on to this guy, I think. I forgot his name, if this is who I think it is.
I'm gonna need you to entertain for a second.
Alright. Hello, internet. I do things and stuff. I have a YouTube channel, but it's kind of funky. Go look at it if you don't want any quality content at all. And I have to entertain. There's some apple juice in a cup in front of me. It's pretty good. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
And I'm
I'm
back.
hoping for. Thank God. Okay, that was painful.
Jeez, really that bad?
No, I just talked about apple juice.
Yeah. Anyways, jumping back in. The guy that Russell was with, G tier. Yeah, he was boring.
I'm
Even more boring
putting
than
him in
Russell.
E tier. He is literally like the worst character in 400 Days. He has no redeeming qualities.
Yeah, he's just a bad person.
And I mean, he was the reason that Eddie or Wyatt got left behind in their story as well. So I mean, E tier.
Yep. Next up, we get the most hated character of season 2. I'm pretty sure, Arvo.
Is it cheating to put Arvo in Gabe tier? No, okay, I don't hate him that much. I'm gonna put him in D tier. I hate him, but I don't hate him as much as a lot of people do. I can see why he shot Clementine if you steal from him and yeah. I feel like his character should be impacted more by your choices. And because he isn't, I'm gonna have to put him in E tier actually. But if his character changes depending on if you robbed him or not, I would have put him higher.
Yeah. Anyways, another good character that was meant to replace some of the other characters from season 2. Bonnie. Another character from 400 Days, but also season 2 this time. She gets an A tier for me.
I have no idea where to put her. Because if you try to save Luke, she's like an A tier character. But if you don't try to save Luke, and she is willing to leave you for dead, then I'm gonna put her in D tier. So I'm gonna put her in B tier overall, I think. I like her. I don't hate her as much as other people do. But the fact that she can be very hypocritical at times makes me put her in B.
Yeah. Anyways, next up, we got the only good character from the original cast of the Lodge House, Luke.
I want to put him in God tier.
He gets
I
S.
want to put him in God tier. I'm putting
He's
him in
the
God tier.
all right. I give him an S tier because they kind of blue balled him with his death, but
His
it
death
makes
was lame,
sense.
but like I still love him. I don't care.
Yeah. If he had a better death, I would be putting him in at God tier, but he literally just drowns. That's it. Like, of all the things you could die of in The Walking Dead, you die of drowning. Come on, man.
Okay. I won't put him in God tier, but I'll put him at the very tippy top of S tier.
Anyways, we're getting pretty close to done here.
We are. We're in the
Next
home
up, we
stretch.
have also Mike. He felt like a Walmart version of Lee. He just wasn't great.
His content would have made him so much more interesting. Having him be the person that actually killed Krista, and you have to choose whether to forgive him or not, is so interesting. I don't know why they cut it, but as is, he's going in C tier.
Yeah, I put him in B tier. He, as I said, he just feels like a discount version of Lee, and it's just not great. Anyways, moving on. Nick, C tier, boring character, did not have any contribution to the plot whatsoever. He was killed
Nick
off in the
is
most
literally
stupid
the
way.
single most average character in this entire series for me. He is the most mid character. Out of every mid character, he's the most mid.
Yeah. I'm drawing blanks right now. Is that Conrad?
Rebecca? No. Oh wait, no, there's one before Rebecca. Pete.
Pete. Oh yeah, that's Pete. Um, he was better
Pete's going
than
to B
Nick,
tier.
but he died pretty soon, and honestly,
I
it's
love
just
his final scene in the ambulance if you go with him instead of Nick. And for that reason, I'm going B tier.
yeah. I have not seen that scene, but I did like him as a character a lot. Next up, Rebecca. I'm putting her in D tier because her character 180 is the most unexplained, stupid piece of shit from season 2. In the first episode, she's a dick to Clementine. And then in the second episode, she's all buddy buddy with her. There's no reason for her character to have a 180 like
I
that.
mean, they kind of just blame it on the pregnancy, which is a little bit cheap.
Yeah,
But
it's she has the
overall, I
it's
don't hate her.
dumb.
I'll put her at the top of C tier. Actually, no, what? I'll put her at the bottom of B tier.
Next up, we have Sarah. I'm gonna be completely honest. Sarah was annoying.
Overhated
She's going in
character.
D. I thought she was really annoying. I'm putting her in D tier.
B tier for me. I get why a lot of people hate her, but I think it's interesting having a character with mental handicaps in the apocalypse, and even though that led to a lot of annoyances, it's overall, I think, worth exploring, so B tier.
Next up, that's Sarita, Kenny's new side P or new chick. C tier. She was meh.
Bottom of C tier.
Yeah, that's where I'm putting her. She is kind
I
of
got nothing
boring.
to say about her. I like her voice, though.
Yeah, she does have a very nice voice. The big Saint Paul, I think it's or Saint John. Is it Paul St. John?
Andy St. John
Andy St. John.
and Danny St. John.
Andy St. John is the bigger one, right?
Yes, yeah,
Andy gets an S tier. I'm moving Ma down to A tier. Andy gets an S tier. He's the most interesting of the St. Pauls, in my opinion,
Johns.
because he seems like the most normal out of them all.
Andy?
Yeah, and it just seemed like he would, not be the kind of person to eat people.
As they are in the game, I'm putting them both in B tier. If the cut content behind Danny's character is actually canon and he was a pedophile before the apocalypse even started, then he'd be going in Gabe tier. Okay, well, E tier. because Gabe tier is exclusively for Gabe. But...
Anyways, next character, the other Danny St. Paul or St. John. I keep hitting St. Paul. D tier. He was weird. I did not like him. And
they're both effective villains, so they're both going to B for me.
They're effective villains. I liked Andy a lot more, and Danny just felt a little too creepy. Like the way he speaks throughout the entire this episode is just really, really weird. Anyways, next up we have Larry.
I'm gonna put him in D. No, E. D or E?
He gets a B tier for me.
I'll put him in D.
There's a reason he's there, and he's supposed to be a conflicting force to Lee, which it works very well as a conflicting force to Lee. And that's why I like him.
As a character, he's fine, but I just hate his guts.
Makes sense. Is this on here as a
Is this the cow?
This is the cow from episode 2.
She looks skinny.
Feel like this is on here as a joke.
In season 1. She looks skinny.
But
and you can just spam that over and over and over again on the cow.
I'm going to be completely honest.
She looks skinny.
Best character in all of The Walking Dead. They're going above Clementine. Just the best character.
I think her name is Maybell. Yeah, it's Maybell, which is actually a pretty name. I'm putting her in S tier because of the meme.
Yeah, no, I'm putting him in S tier. I'm not actually putting him in God tier, but yeah.
She looks skinny.
Fuck, what's her name?
Shell, I think.
Yeah, Shell. Yeah.
C tier.
Where did I put the other girl? She gets C tier. Because she's above the other girl, her sister, which is whatever. I said her name earlier in the video. You can go back if you really want to.
She's my favorite protagonist from 400 Days that wasn't in any other game in the future.
Yeah. Anyways, next up we got a Sim.
Underrated character. He's
going in A for a Sim.
I really like a Sim.
He's a really cool character. And somehow he's the one that survives the season with the least damage possible. He survives no matter what. He does not get hurt no matter what. Like, Lewis, he gets his tongue chopped out. Clementine loses a fucking leg.
Violet loses her eyesight and becomes traumatized for life, depending on your choices. I never choose that, though.
A Sim makes it out of the season completely unscathed. There are 3 characters that make it out of that season completely unscathed.
Yeah. I mean, I do really like him, though.
These characters make it out completely unscathed. James, S tier. He is such an interesting character.
I love the Whispers. He's going in S tier.
I love his character.
I'm gonna put him in between Jesus and Abel.
Now we get to the character I don't like very much. Lewis. He's just such a generic Casanova type character. I don't like him. They tried too hard to make him likable.
I do like him a lot, but he's not as good as Violet, and it's not even close. I'm gonna put him right next to Marlon. He's going in A tier for me. I like him a lot.
Omar, B tier. He wasn't that interesting.
Omar is the most C tier character I've ever seen. Other than Nick. He's a little bit... I like him a little more than Nick. But he has, like, the least amount of voice lines out of any character in that entire series.
Yeah, he is the most C-tier character. He's
going in C-tier.
He's the most C-tier character other than Vernon, Bree, Walter. No, not Walter. Whatever
Walter White.
The other guy. Russell. Not the guy that gets pushed off the thing. Katja, Nick, Sarita, Shell, and then balcony guy. I
like Omar's voice a lot, but
Ruby.
He's like he's the only character in Erickson that just does pretty much nothing. He has no
Ruby's.
place in the plot.
She's getting a B tier. I didn't like her too much, but she really actually no, she gets an A tier. She warms
She's
up on
getting A
you
tier
a
for me.
lot throughout the season.
Because of episodes 2 and 3, I'm putting her in A tier. I
Yeah.
really like Ruby. We can get medicine from the nurse's office. Yeah, try to just patch up that headshot from a bullet with a band-aid and some Bactine. Go
Especially if
ahead,
it being a
Ruby.
44 Magnum. That's not helping it.
Okay, but other than that, that one
Next up,
scene was just a bit goofy. I love
we
Ruby.
got 10. He gets an A tier. His death was rough, but it makes sense. He was so conflicted throughout a lot of it ever since he found out Minerva is alive. He kept getting manipulated by Lily, which I feel like was a really good thing for his character, being an easy to manipulate child.
He's going top of A tier for me. I love him a lot.
Yeah. That being said, we have a much better character up next. In fact, another guy, the first non-protagonist god tier character, Violet.
Violet is the only character in my S tier right now, other than Actually, no, she is the only character in my S tier that is not a playable character. She's going right next to Lee. I change my mind all the time whether I like Lee or Violet more. I'm gonna put Violet above Lee right now because I feel like being sacrilegious.
Yes. All right. Willie, he gets a B tier. He's comedic
Willie's
relief.
funny.
He's comedic relief.
Chronic
Give me
masturbation.
a second.
Alright, well, I will entertain again. Willie is in B tier. I like him quite a bit, but he's not as good as most of the other characters in Erickson. I also am a pretty decent fan of every Erickson character. I am running out of things to say. Omar is only in C tier because the fan fiction for the character doesn't count, but I love how the fan base has basically turned him into the cooking god. Hello, welcome back.
Again, sorry about that.
We talked about the soup god Omar, or sorry, the cooking god.
Yeah, sorry about that again. Probably should have picked a better time to start recording, but I got busy pretty early.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah. Anyways, next.
Lonnie.
That's Lonnie?
I think so.
What's he from?
Unless mine is out of order. New Frontier, he's a character that Javier hits with a crowbar.
I don't
At least if we're
remember
looking at the same one.
Is it the guy who's just got like the really receding hairline?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
that's Lonnie.
I do not remember anything about him, so he's going in C tier.
C tier.
He's kind of forgettable.
Actually, no, D tier. D tier because
it's
of
forgettable.
a specific scene in New Frontier where he kind of is just not great.
Anyways, next up we got yes, Badger. He's going in B tier. He's not a great. Wait, have we already gotten Badger?
We've already had Badger.
Wait, then who's this?
This is what's his name? It's not Link.
Is it Clint?
I think it starts with Clint. That's it.
It's the other guy. I actually liked Clint. He was a pretty nice guy. He's just too wrapped around Linda, if I'm correct. Jones finger. Yeah, I'm totally remember. New Frontier was so freaking forgettable. There are like you can remember the main characters' names and like a few side characters, but every other character's names are like just so easy to forget. Oh shoot. We are having a technical difficulty real quickly here. Ignore this for a second. We are having issues, of course. Of course, this has to do this now. Hello?
Oh, hello.
Okay, we're back.
Hello.
Apologies for the
Okay, I don't
technical
know what
issues,
happened
everyone.
Discord
Anyways.
or not Discord, Xbox app is a little funky wonky.
Final 5. Conrad. If you do not kill him, he has one of the best story arcs I've heard. That being said, I've never seen the story arc, so it's B.
I hate what he does in episode 2 to Clementine and Gabe, but also like his character and that he can die in almost every episode or he can survive the whole season is really interesting. So I'm going with B tier because I like his character arc throughout the season, even though I personally have never actually gotten that.
Yeah. Joan. She's such a
Joan's an
generic
E tier.
villain. She gets a D tier for me. She's the worst villain in all of The Walking Dead, in my opinion. She's so generic. Like, they try and make you think she's so bad, like the St. John's or Carver, but no, she's really just a generic villain who just attacks other people so she can keep herself safe.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's literally no better than the bandits. And the bandits were more interesting than her, which is saying something, I feel like. Anyways,
I would agree.
From obscurity to the best, Kenny, God tier character. One of 2 non-playable characters in God tier.
Am I gonna put Kenny above Lee? I don't know.
I'm just putting him in a tier. I don't do the whole top of bottom of thing. I just kind of put him in there.
I'm going to because I feel like it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I am gonna put Kenny a little bit behind Lee. I like Lee a little bit more today, but it goes back and forth like every day. It's the same with Violet. Violet, Lee, and Kenny are constantly switching.
Yes. Anyways, last 2 characters. Just gonna rapid fire them. D tier, D tier. Wyatt and Eddie are boring as fuck. And Eddie's surprise. Yeah, Eddie's surprise appearance in season 4 only to get shot in the head by Clementine was a little meh. I mean, it was cool.
I'm gonna put
hey, that's the guy from 400 Days.
God tier because of his glorious return in final season.
And then got shot.
Obviously, I'm memeing. He's going in D tier, but his death was kind of funny, so. And that is it, I believe.
Yeah, that's all characters. So
oh my god, that's all of the characters.
I'll give one final overview of my list here. And yeah, do you have any closing words?
Play the walk.
If you've gotten this far and you still haven't played the Walking Dead games, what are you doing? And I think he disconnected again. Hello?
Hello. Sorry, I am here.
All right. Yeah, no, if you've gotten this far and you still haven't played the Telltale games, what are you doing? You just spoiled the entire series for yourself. What the heck is wrong with you?
And also, Violet is a god tier character. I don't want to hear any opposition.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you for joining me. And
me.
Audience, thank you all for watching. It was great making a new video after 10 months of me not uploading, and even longer of me not uploading a original video that just wasn't a Twitch VOD of mine. Other than that, that's all I've got. If you want to, go ahead, drop a like on the video and subscribe. But don't feel pressured to. Anyways.
No, feel pressured too.
Other than that, that's all we've got for this time. See you probably in another 12 years.